Let's talk about Boogie a little bit, chat. For your convenience, I have clipped out the irrelevant prostitute in this video, and instead you just get fat Ron Jeremy Boogie. I really think that Boogie wears this fat retard, sweaty, greasy, disgusting reprobate look really well. He should stick with this moving forward. Fuck the curly haired shit. Do the grease back. It looks good. Well, I say it looks good. It suits him, is what I'm trying to say.
Listen up, all you top G's. There's some misinformation being spread around right now by certain influencers. But I'm here to tell you the truth and the hacks to help you break free from the matrix so you can be a brokey like me. Now listen, you may know there's certain myths that are being pushed on you to keep you in the rat race and enslaved to certain disciplines. But I'm here to dispel those myths for you. Number one, everyone thinks you have to have a perfect body, fit to stave off any attack. That's lies. This body wasn't by accident. If you don't have anything to steal and you don't look like a threat, then no one's going to attack you anyway. You see this body? This is what peak performance looks like. And it wasn't an accident. Do you have any idea how much discipline it took to create this body? Do you have any idea how many carbs you have to ingest to maintain this kind of mass? But it guarantees that when people look at me, they don't see a threat. Myth number two, a man must build an empire to have any true worth. Haram! That is haram. True happiness comes from the simple things in life. An aquarium, and a goldfish, two small dogs in a video game. That's real happiness. You don't know the pressures that comes with money. You got to determine what you're going to invest in, what you're going to buy. What would you buy? Ethereum? No. True freedom comes from being a wage slave. You don't want all of that pressure of trying to decide what color your Bugatti's gonna be, do you? Now, myth number three is that if you are fit and you are rich, then you're gonna have different beautiful women lining up for you every single night. Well, that's gay. True happiness comes from one woman a couple of times a month. Little Andrew's out there needing consistent validation. Oh, love me, won't you love me tonight? Andrew, that's gay. True happiness is found by staying with the same woman, whenever she doesn't have a headache. And you know what gives her a headache? Competition anxiety. If I were rich and I were thin, she'd be afraid to stand next to me because other women would be looking. And I promise you, no other women are looking. Be a man! Make sure your woman feels secure by knowing you're not going anywhere. Now, Faddy is a community for like-minded individuals that have broken free from the matrix. True happiness comes from a goldfish, from the same woman a couple of nights a month, and the occasional meme coin. Faddy for life.
He does kind of nail like the Andrew Tate thing. I'm actually kind of impressed. He should stick to this persona of being like a confidence man who looks like Ron Jeremy. I think it works with him. He should not try to sell meme coins though. Boogie was contacted by a pump and dump company, which basically what they do, and this has become such a scourge that there's entire channels like CoffeeZilla dedicated to calling out celebrities who accept money to shill a cryptocurrency pump and dump scam. The way that it works is that what the company does is it creates an Ethereum token, and then it lists the Ethereum token at a certain price, and then they pay someone like Boogie to advertise the token. And regardless of what the token is, regardless of if it's an obvious joke or not, the way that cryptocurrency investment, quote unquote, works is that you have thousands of people all across the world, including in India, Nigeria, where cryptocurrency is seen as like this poverty lifting. Like an entire village can be taken out with like lifted out of poverty with like a single Bitcoin, like 1000x or whatever, and you have all these people who are just desperately trying to find the next 1000xer. Like it used to be with crypto, you had people looking at what they would call fundamentals. You have Bitcoin. Bitcoin was blue ocean. It was a brand new concept that was proven by its success. And then by the time that Bitcoin is reaching $100 or whatever, there were alternatives like Litecoin and meme coins like Doge that just tried to be just like Bitcoin but a little bit faster. And then there were others that came out, and the most prominent one is Ethereum. Ethereum is not just a cryptocurrency chain; it is also a programming language, and it has smart contracts, which is why all these scam coins take advantage of the smart contract system. So a lot of people started looking into fundamentals and said, like, well, Ethereum is likely to succeed because it creates all these other opportunities. It's being invested in by IBM and others. And then you have Monero, which has purpose outside of like a real utility in terms of privacy. So people look speculatively based on the fundamentals, and they invest money into that, hoping that that cryptocurrency succeeds. A lot of people are too dumb for that and too impatient for that. So they get involved in these pump and dump schemes, and they try to find what they call 10xers, 100xers, 1000xers, where they just create this bullshit, try to sell it to normal people as a literal Ponzi scheme, and then they dump it when it hits the X that they're looking for. So this pump and dump scheme that Boogie got paid to advertise a meme coin on, well, they're going to look at this like, we're going to do a 10x or 100x with this. They're going to sell the coin, and then once he starts talking about it, he plugs it into the algorithm. It gets shared. A lot of people from like India and Nigeria are going to be like, well, I don't know who this Boogie guy is, but he has 1 million followers on YouTube. This looks like it's promising. They put in like a little bit of money each. It gets shared around on like, oh, this might be a 100xer. And then the pump and dump scheme, when they see that the interest wanes or whatever, they just sell as much of token as they want to because they control the blockchain. They take all that money out of the system, and everybody else is left holding the bags, which are now worth nothing. That's the basis of how these pump and dump schemes work. They're pretty nefarious. They take advantage of people who are trying to make money. And I don't know, they kind of deserve it. If I want to be real with you, from an ethical standpoint, it's definitely not ethical to try and scam people out of money. I'm not really feeling bad for people who are going to try to, because in my opinion, cryptocurrency was very important, and it's been kind of turned into this farce by all these fucking Pajeets and Nigerians trying to find the next 100x or whatever the fuck, and I hate them all, and I hold them with utter contempt. And if they become, in abject poverty and they have to suck dick to pay rent, good, fuck them. They made something that I like gay and shitty, like they all do. So that's how it works, and that's why people who have ethics, quote unquote, do not like these pump and dump schemes. The money that the pump and dump scam makes off of Boogie's shilling it is more than what they pay him, obviously, otherwise they wouldn't do it. And they also give Boogie some of the coin, but it's worthless. It's so worthless that when Medicare, who did a whole stream on Boogie and basically just tried to make fun of him, though I doubt the efficacy of something like that, because I think Boogie is someone who has zero shame, literally zero shame. As long as there are no consequences for his actions, he will say and do literally anything and not feel any remorse or guilt or whatever. He's simply not capable of indulging the emotions that someone might feel when they are accountable to any kind of popular system. He's a literal whore in every way, shape, and form. But he did burn his tokens, and I'm sure he did that because they were worthless. So it was an empty, free gesture. Hey, I got called out. I have these tokens, they're not worth anything. I got to show that I care a little bit. So just burn my tokens, and I was like, okay, well, whatever. So let's see. Anything else I want to say on that? He went out and he tried to make all these excuses. He said that he needed the money to pay for his Zalapan or some medication that's like a weight loss medication, and then he said that the weight loss medication was for his blood cancer, which he has, and blood cancer can take like 10 years to kill him. But he's saying that he got prescribed it for his blood cancer, which sounds like bullshit, and using his cancer to justify the shilling of the meme coin, like, pissed Jim off, which is why he did the stream, because he was personally insulted by someone using their medical condition to justify defrauding people, basically. Here's my thought, though. And I didn't hear this mentioned by anybody. I haven't seen anybody mention this. But in the United States, where Boogie lives, and if you're one of those people who really hates Boogie, and, you know, if you're Jim and you have a bloodlust for Boogie at this point, you want his delicious cancer blood, I hesitate to say this because it invokes the name of the devil. But in the United States where Boogie lives, there is a government agency called the SEC, the Security Exchange Commission. And the Securities Exchange Commission regulates securities and exchanges. Go figure. Which includes stocks, but it also includes cryptocurrencies. And there are many cases where the SEC gets very angry if you use Bitcoin in a way which is regulated as a security, in a way that defrauds people. You can't do that in the U.S. And even though Boogie wasn't involved in the development of his Faddy coin, the fact that he was the face and advertiser of it, and the fact that it is a fraud and it has deprived people of money, may possibly put him in hot water with the SEC. The question is if I think you would need somebody who was a victim of it to complain to the SEC to start an investigation, because there's all sorts of bullshit that happens they don't care about. But if people complain because they're like, hey, you know, this guy I trusted on YouTube sold me a fucking cryptocurrency scam, they will investigate it. They would love to. They want to put as many nails into cryptocurrency as they possibly fucking can. So if Boogie is actually defrauded people and there are victims of this, if they were to complain to the SEC, not that I would ever advocate talking to the government in any way, shape, or form, they may find it worth their time to investigate that. Up to you. I don't give a shit. I just thought, you know, I'd throw it out there. I saw a lot of discussion about this, but my first thought was I'm watching and reading all this, and I'm like, what about the SEC? He's advertising a security that is like an unregulated security, and it's like an obvious fucking scam, and nobody's like, what about? Maybe that's my first thought. I don't know what that says about me. Okay. Shitster, yeah, that's me. What was your first hint? Unkind Naysayer for 2 says, 1 for me, 1 for my hooker. 1 for me, 1 for my hooker. 1 for me, 1 for my hooker. Thank you, Unkind Naysayer. TV Deluxe for 2 says, Boogie's shilling a shitcoin for that'll lose 99.9% of its value. Meanwhile, Josh has a Gumroad with 100% no content. Who's the real scammer here, Josh? I have some content, bro. I'm running out of excuses. I really have to start doing more shit for the Gumroad. I don't know. I'm just so out of swing for it. It's hard to get back into it. Twinkle Tower for 2 says, it's funny when Boogie suddenly cares about his health. He doesn't care for shit. He doesn't care about anything. Literally nothing. Sneedo for 5 says, Josh, can you play this Boogie-related clip? It's only 4 seconds. I am muting my fucking audio. I don't trust you, fucker. Oh, here we go. Okay, I'll play that.
Where's the gun at, you fat shit?
There's a point, the Boogie, I rewatched the shooting video because Medicare played it. And during the video, Boogie makes several mistakes regarding how he handled Frank Castle. Obviously, coming out to confront him at all was a mistake. But the other mistake was when he came out and he fired his warning shot. You're not ever supposed to fire a warning shot. But I still think that Frank was like in the wrong, and Boogie probably could have gotten away with shooting him. There's a specific point It's the very famous line from it where Frank Castle says, "Castle doctrine means I get to come inside and fuck you." I think if Boogie had not hesitated and instantly shot him after he said that, I think that he would have been able to walk. I think that he would have been able to get away with literal murder because no, like it would be impossible for me sitting on a jury to be like, okay, this guy is like threatening to rape you. Like he's unintimidated by the gun. He's clearly a fucking lunatic, and he's threatening to rape you. Like, yeah, you can shoot him at that point. I think he could have gotten away with it. If there's definitely another timeline where he shot Frank Castle in the chest after he said that and walked from it. That would have ruled. I agree.